Friends, welcome to episode 84 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I am the Professor Larry, and over there is Anthony, the developer. How's it going, dude?
Doing okay. Pretty busy. Had a playtest today for
Playtest for
my game.
Yes.
Not Space Time. We have the three of us at one of the founders' houses just had set up people to come through all day today, different people we know in the industry, and just sit down and play what we have and watch people play the game.
Awesome.
And that's always a eye-opening experience.
So how far along is your game now?
That is a good question. You can play a full loop in a rough form now. So, like, you can pick someone from the hostel, and they can go into the dungeon, and they can run until you either want to pull them out because they're exhausted, or they die/get knocked out, and then they go back to the hostel. And then there's different adventures, like you can recruit new people, and so wounds carry over and all sorts of stuff, so they need time to recover, a lot like XCOM.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of managing your roster a little bit, trying to cure people of some wounds, because they can get all sorts of bad stuff happening to them, affects their stats. But it's working in that form, and there's lots of other little subtle things through. I was pretty happy watching people play. It's still buggy, like, man, there are bugs, but it was cool to see just people that hadn't played it ever before sitting down and playing and dying super quick the first time they sat down. Like, we're talking within like minutes, just wiped. But then they just, okay, try this again. And by the end, like, most of the people that hadn't tried it before, actually all of them, were finishing full runs.
And how long?
Within about 15 minutes.
Okay.
It took them, like, the first time they die in like 3. The next time they die in maybe like 10. And then after that, they seem to get a grasp of, like, okay, this is how I should approach things and go.
Go ahead.
Which is what we were hoping. Like, yeah, you need to push your limits and be like, oh, this game's going to hurt me if I do stupid things. Yep.
And what was the general reaction, like the general mood of after they finished a run? How were they feeling?
Good. Like, most people were pretty happy with it, and
cool.
Wanted to do more runs. Like, definitely multiple people came through would do more runs, and then they'd only get up because they were like, oh, there's someone here waiting, they should play. And
that's always a good feeling.
Some of them would sit back down if no one was on the machine and play more. So yeah, it was a good feeling. It feels good. There's just a lot to still be done on it, so it's always the question of what can be done and how much time and what needs to be done. So I think we'll see. I have my other game coming to early access 3 weeks now, 4 weeks. Space Tyrant will be in early access beginning of June, and this isn't like an early access like, oh, it's a half done game. It's going to be a mostly done game. It's going to be missing some content, like to pad everything out, but the actual, like, systems are all in place, and it's polished to a decent degree. Ideally, a lot of bugs have been worked out because we've been in beta now for 4 months. So we've had a good chunk of testers just playing it, hitting it, telling us, like, oh, this is really imbalanced, or there's this crazy save load bug going on. So it's been good.
And then when that happens, is it your job to go in and fix those bugs?
Yes.
Right.
Yep. That's some weeks. That's all I do is fix bugs. So
yeah.
But it's okay. That's part of being a developer.
Right.
Sometimes you make the new things. Sometimes you just sit there and fix the old things.
It's not a glorious job.
No, not at all. It's not sitting around playing games all day. Not even close.
Right. Well, looking at your Steam profile, it's like 500 and something hours in Space Tyrant. It's just insane.
Oh yeah.
No, you're not.
I'm pretty sure
I'm on it, but
no. Usually when I'm in Steam, that's active work time. If you see me playing.
Right. But I wonder if, like, is it open while you're doing other things and it's still logging the time?
No.
Oh, okay. So that is active time then.
Yes, it's very rare that I leave because that's not my work machine. So yeah, if you see me on Steam and I'm actually in Space Tyrant, I'm probably working. Almost certainly I'm working on it.
Well, looking forward to. Hopefully our listeners can check it out when it's in early access. It's launching for $20. Is that right?
15 or 20. I don't think we've decided exactly.
Right.
Still up in the air.
And
it should be good.
And then your Owl Dragon game, did you have like a working title for it today when they did the walkthrough?
Oh, it's called Tomb of Evil.
Oh, is that the actual name?
Tomb of Evil Avenue.
Tomb of Evil Avenue. Okay.
Or although we just call it Toe Ave.
Right, that makes sense.
But yeah, Tomb of Evil is what we're calling it right now, and it may change. Who knows? We like it. It fits, especially whenever we do the tongue-in-cheek part of it. You're playing on a street called Tomb of Evil Avenue.
Right.
And it kind of is ridiculous, which the game is ridiculous, so.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations on that milestone.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a good day. It's been a tiring day, though. I'm glad to be here at home, recording, talking about some games, not working on them.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to have our video game club discussion. We're talking about The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. That was our game for April. And then we will select our May game. And then we have this is the Nintendo episode, just like a lot of podcasts, a lot of gaming media lately is just like all Nintendo all the time because there's just so much news from Nintendo right now. And then we've got some of the things that we're playing, and then we actually do have an off-topic discussion today about Game of Thrones spinoffs and George R.R. Martin, who I saw this last week at UCSD, and some tidbits of
jealous.
It was great.
And it was Kim Stanley Robinson, right?
Yes, absolutely.
God.
Yeah, he's great too.
Yes, he is.
His presence. I've never read anything by him, but I've seen him speak 2 or 3 times now, and he's really good.
I do recommend the Mars trilogy.
I've heard it. I want to read that.
He did the Red Mars, Green Mars, Blue Mars. Yeah. That spans hundreds of years. Just the terraforming of Mars. I remember reading Red Mars in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read it in high school.
Okay. Yeah, that's the trilogy that people keep telling me to pick up. I went when he was it was maybe 4 years ago when one of his newer books came out, and he did a reading, and it was just impenetrable to me. I was like, not for me. But people recommended if I didn't like that, to go back to the Mars trilogy. So I plan on it. So that's our show for this week. We're going to start with our discussion of the April Video Game Club discussion, and that's The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. So let's start with your thoughts.
I couldn't even finish it.
Yeah, that's my thoughts too. I did not like it.
No, actually, I really didn't. And I've been trying to think of why. I mean, yes, it is a walking simulator. It's puzzles and getting your story. And I'm even thinking now to Firewatch and it. Because they share a decent amount of similarities from a mechanical standpoint and how you're presented story. But I found the story in Ethan Carter just impenetrable.
Yep.
Can you use that word? Yeah, I was like, I have no fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah. So for me, the moment where I realized this game was not for me, and the thing that I think sets it apart from Firewatch in a negative way, there's a point where you get to the railroad tracks and you find legs cut off or whatever. You found there's some sort of murder there, right?
Yep.
So I
got through that.
Okay, so I find a clue and I go to I don't know, expand. Or I forget what exactly. Your sense, and you start seeing through the world, right?
Yeah.
And so I found the clue, and I went back to the body, and I started seeing through the world, and then it stopped, and I was like, "Oh, I must be doing this wrong." So I kept walking, went through the world to another place, and went really, really far. Got to this house. I don't know if you got to this part. Did you get that part?
A house that has the different doors you go through?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I stopped.
Yep. So I did that. I completed it, and I realized that you're in that house, and then you go to the other house to see how it's all laid out, and you come back and try to do it the way that it's laid out to get to the end, basically, to reveal the. Did you finish that house?
I did not.
Okay. So you have to go through the doors. Okay. So that house, there's another house next door, and I guess it's the Carter house, and it's laid out. So you have to remember how that house is laid out, and then come back to the puzzle house, and then go through the doors in a way that shows or that replicates the actual Carter house. So if you go into a door and you choose the wrong base, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look like how it's supposed to be based upon the layout of the other house. Then you start over.
And that's the problem. I never knew to go to the other house.
Right. So
I was trying to find some clue inside the shifting door house to tell me how to get through.
You would never know. So I just happened to go to the other house first and then came to the puzzle house. And I said, that looks similar, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I went online, found a guide. I was like, okay, tell me which way to go. So I got to the end of it. I just followed this guide to get through the house once I figured out how to do it. But I didn't want to actually run back and forth and figure it out because that would be just terrible, especially considering you don't walk very fast.
No.
And then you get to the end, and it's a little piece of the story. It's basically like different people in the family have died.
Yeah.
This is the story. And it wasn't worth the effort, unfortunately. The story wasn't that interesting to me. So when I got through that house, I realized, oh, okay, so that railroad track place I was at earlier, there were probably more. So I need to go back and find different clues to kind of fully shape the secondary world or whatever, where you can see them or fully put together the memory. It's almost like that game we played a couple game clubs a game of it. Oh yeah, To the Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Where you find like 3 or 4 memories
and then to the moon.
To the moon, that's right. There was a lighthouse in it though.
Yes.
You put all the memories together and finally you can see what happened in the past. So I realized that's what I needed to do with the railroad track, but it was like a 10-minute walk back.
And did you figure out that you could run?
I think you hold shift to run, right?
Yeah.
Still wasn't fast enough for me.
No, things were pretty spread out overall.
Yeah. So when I got to that point, I'm like, I got to run back 10 minutes to go back to that first thing to do it all. I'm like, nope, I'm done. So in Firewatch, like when you get to a place to do something, you're able to do the thing and then move on. Whereas this, I like had to come back, backtrack 10 minutes. I wasn't going to do it. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Oxenfree.
Actually, yeah, that would definitely be in some. Oxenfree is a good example there. Yeah, I did the railroad track one. It took me freaking ever because I had to find a stupid rock.
Mm-hmm.
God, stupid rock. You're like, there's a place that's like, it looks like a rock's been moved here, and it just like throws rock on your screen, and like, well, that's great. A rock could be anywhere.
Yeah, there's lots.
Look around. There's lots of rocks. Like, gonna point me. Nope. Okay. So I had to look at a guide eventually because I spent half an hour searching for this dumb rock. It's the last thing I needed for this. And it seriously was like 10 feet from where I was.
And then when you saw the memory, was it that interesting?
Not really. It was okay. It was like you basically learn about, because the person that killed was his brother, Ethan Carter's brother, Travis Carter. But he was kind of tormenting Ethan because of some very Lovecraftian horror aspect going on. Did you get that vibe?
No.
They called it something called this the like sorrow or something. Like something controlling the family, trying to get Ethan. It was very Lovecraftian. Like people going insane.
Right.
But so the thing is, I thought I had to go at first when I was trying the rock, go farther, like go out to the forest a bit more, and I came across like an astronaut thing.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the hell is this? And I did that whole thing.
So you followed the astronaut and went into that spaceship looking thing?
Yeah, I was like, I have no clue what's going on. And then it put me down. And unlike you, I didn't go too far because I figured I was like determined that the solution to the railroad track was closer to the railroad track.
That was smart.
So I didn't go too far. The astronaut thing was something is supposed to be done afterwards. But yeah, I found the whole thing just lacking. Like it didn't, like that rock thing. It just didn't direct me in enough of what to do. Like I get that even at the beginning of the like narrative experience, it won't hold your hand. I'm like, well, you don't need to hold my hand. If you're not going to, things just kind of need to be intuitive to a point. Like, oh, there's a rock missing in here. Is there a trail on the ground or something to signify like, oh, it would probably be over in this direction somewhere? There's nothing at all.
Yeah, and I feel like for puzzles that are kind of that obtuse that are not intuitive, like you're saying, the payoff better be really good.
Yeah,
and I didn't find the payoff of that house one to be that great. And I even had done it with a guide at that point. Once I figured out, I have to go to this house and come back and fit in, like I'm not doing that. The payoff wasn't good.
Yeah,
enough.
So I kind of feel like this is like a narrative walking simulator that just wasn't enough. Like we have our faults with Firewatch for more of just, and actually it's just ending and how the narrative it was trying to build. But I always felt like while to follow point, like it kept me engaged, it kept me wanting. This did not at all.
That's right. That's exactly how I feel with both Oxenfree and Firewatch. there was plenty to keep me interested all the way to the end. And then the end in Firewatch was the thing that killed it for me. And for Oxenfree, just the slow backtracking kind of killed that one for me, but it was still interesting. This one just had no hooks at all. And this is honestly, I try to finish the book club game or the video game club games because I, want to have a nice discussion about it, but I couldn't do it. I went and I watched there was an 1.5-hour video on YouTube of someone doing the whole game. So, nice thing about YouTube is you can speed up, 2 times speed or whatever. So I watched through most of it, and the story, the narrative that comes about is just not that interesting. It's about the family kind of, being possessed and killing each other, and reading into the story. It's people's speculation about what the story actually means is that none of this stuff actually happened, but that Ethan Carter, I don't know if you saw in some of the pieces that he's writing. He's a writer in some way.
I actually figured it was probably this is like some story he had written.
That's exactly right. So it ends up being some story he had written, and at least, it's not spelled out like that, but you can interpret it that way.
I figure it's a pretty easy interpretation with finding stories that he has written around, like that. Yeah, if it's not, not if the developer hasn't said anything, like it's there for a reason. So
yeah, and unfortunately, it's the first one that we played that I couldn't recommend it. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
we both put an hour into it, and I deleted it after an hour. Some of the other games like To the Moon, I wasn't having that great of a time with, but I kept coming back to it. And there was something that kept pulling me back, and this one was, I started it 3 weeks ago, and I kept coming back to try, and I was like, I'm going to play something else, or I'm going to read, or I would think of anything to do except for play this game again, and that just told me this is not the game for me.
No, which is unfortunate, but I think for me as a developer, it's more interesting sometimes to play games that miss the mark, especially when we've played games that have hit the mark in this genre.
Right.
Trying to figure out why.
Yeah, it's more interesting for you, especially or specifically like something to learn. I like reading bad stories for the same reason, something to learn about the writing craft. But I don't make games, so
no,
I just play them, and it's like this is not. I've got other things to play, other things to do. The past month has been particularly stressful at work, so I had limited game time anyways, and this was not how I wanted to spend it. So
it makes
I apologize because it's your selection, but
no,
it didn't really.
Not apologize to me. It's not like I was terribly thrilled with it either. I didn't have a lot of info going into it either. It was one of those games that has sat in my Steam backlog for a long time. And that's where it will stay now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, at least we gave it a try. This game actually influenced my selection for our game club now, because I was going to choose Abzu because we both have it from PS Plus, and it's kind of just a chill. I don't swimming simulator. I don't know. It's by the art director of Journey, and you're basically swimming around and kind of experiencing the world underwater. But it kind of seems too close to this in terms of mechanics. Maybe I'm, there might be listeners who are screaming because I'm totally wrong because I haven't actually played Abzu, but I'm going to wait on that one. So I'm actually going to give you a choice. Yeah, so I have 3 different games that I want to do for May's Book Club. One is a boss rush game. One is a traditional adventure game, like old school adventure game. And then one is a third-person action adventure game. They're all about 4 hours long. The boss rush might be a little longer than them. So for May, which of those genres tickle your fancy?
Let's do the action adventure.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. I was leaning toward that one as well. So our May game, it's a game that we both got on PS Plus about a year ago, and it's Infamous First Light.
Oh, cool.
So I don't think you played it, but we both
have it. I did not.
But you played Second Son.
I did not beat Second Son, but I did play a bit of Second Son.
Yeah, I didn't beat it either. I played it. But this one is supposed to be quite a bit better than Second Son, and it's a 4-hour experience.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. So that's our May game. Infamous First Light.
First Light.
Yeah, not Second Son. That's a longer experience. And it's just, that game was just so repetitive, didn't really enjoy it.
I think I got bummed. It's repetitive, and then I started getting annoyed because it really sucks to live in the city that they're trying to mimic in an open world.
Right.
Because it is nothing like Second Son Seattle, not even laid out like real Seattle. Neighborhoods don't connect that should connect. They've moved a lot of stuff around, and it really, really messes with me sometimes when I'm like, oh, okay, I'm here at the Space Needle. I should be able to go south and be at this place, and I'm totally off. It was a weird, like, I just happen to live in this city, so it's hard for me to shut my brain off and accept that this is a fake version of the city.
Yeah, I'm not sure where this is. It's like standalone DLC.
I'm sure it's still in Seattle.
Yeah,
but it'll be fine. I'll get through it.
Okay. I don't want to give you.
No. That's just one, like, the gameplay in Second Son didn't keep me engrossed enough to get past that. But hopefully, First Light will be a bit better in that department.
Okay, so audience, if you want to follow along, we'll be playing that in May, and we will discuss it the first podcast of June. First piece of news for our news sections about Mario Kart. No, it's not. Excuse me, I'm reading this wrong. Will you take the first one? I'm reading the wrong thing.
Okay, the first thing is during the month of April, to meet this Mario Kart demand and just to keep Switch consoles in the market, Nintendo was air shipping them everywhere, which is insanely expensive. But now they are done with that. But that is pretty much the only reason they got Switches back into the market in any reasonable rate.
Yeah, there's someone was saying that it's like $45 per box, not per unit, but like if a box has like 15 units or whatever, it's $45 per box. Just to ship it by air.
Air shipping or air freight for anything like this is super expensive. So it was worth it to them to get stuff back on the shelves for Mario Kart 8. But I wonder now how the supply will trickle out. I'm curious now.
Yeah, what kind of drought we're going to have. We don't have a big game until ARMS, I think, is the next one in June. So we'll see. They got another... I bet you they're timing it so they have like a ship coming like June for ARMS, July for Splatoon 2, etc.
Honestly, I didn't do it, but last Saturday or Sunday, I was at Target. There was a Switch right there. I could have bought it.
Really?
Yep. There's one Switch left in Target in West Seattle specifically. There was just one in there. Totally. If I didn't care about my budget, I totally would have just bought it right then and there. But no, I can wait. It's fine. But I was shocked to just be able to walk in and there's just one sitting there.
I think it's a good sign to see like something on the shelf, even though it's only one. That means it's still high demand, but people are starting to be able to walk in and at least get one if they want one. In some places, in a short window of time.
Yeah, it definitely. I would assume that one was gone later that day easily. So I think it's the right amount of consoles that they're giving out. I feel like, you might have to wait a few weeks to get one, but if you want one, you'll be able to get one now. Like, they're definitely keeping enough consoles heading into the market.
Right. So those Switches were coming to market for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe set a record, fastest selling game in the franchise, which is crazy because up until now it was Mario Kart Wii, basically, and that is the highest selling Mario Kart ever. So this might, take that crown. And it said that 45% of Switch owners picked up the game. This is from Polygon. That tells me that 55 or 50% of Switch owners had a Wii U. Otherwise, this would have a bigger attach rate, I think.
I probably, or that's the part of the market that is they're just still invested in Zelda and the games they have and aren't ready for another.
This is just the definitive version of this game. It's so good. But it's good to see it selling so well, and the way just the trend right now of how much it's sold in the beginning means that once more Switches get out there, by the end of life, I think for this console, this is going to be a really high selling game.
Yeah. I would expect that they'll bundle this again at some point.
Mm-hmm.
This will be a pack-in. They'll do just like the Wii, but I could see a Mario Kart bundle being a big sell for a Switch later on.
And because it's selling that many copies, does that up the chances that they do another DLC pack for it, or is that just not
I don't know, actually. I mean, it would be... There's part of me that wonders if they just want to hold it at this, and they want to keep development focused on the next Mario Kart.
Yeah, and I think that's true. They have a limited number of teams, so if it's not the next Mario Kart, it's something else. Resources for more DLC for Mario Kart means less resources for something else.
Yeah, and if they did this DLCs for this, would it come to DLC for the Wii U and things like that? I think they just want to avoid anything and just put this out as like, nope, this is it. This is the, as you said, definitive version of this game, and you'll be a few years before you get another Mario Kart game. So enjoy this one.
Right. And there's so much to it. I mean, I've played a lot of Mario Karts. This is the best by far.
I need to sit down and play your copy that I have here.
You should. Yeah, it's so good. But I assume that if you don't, you'll get the Switch one eventually.
Oh yeah.
So either way, but it's super good. Your kids would enjoy playing the Switch one because of the auto steering.
Oh yeah.
It keeps them on the track, so it'd be less frustrating for them. So maybe hold off if you play with them at least.
Yeah.
Speaking of DLC, you want to jump into the first DLC pack for Breath of the Wild?
Yeah. So this got detailed. Did they give a name for it?
Yeah, they did, and I cannot. I'll see if I can find it somewhere while you're talking. The Master Trials.
The Master Trials.
Yep.
Yeah. So, what does it include? Includes Trial of the Sword. There's a new location. It was the Cave of Trials challenge before. I haven't been there.
I haven't been there either.
I read that. I'm like, what? This is in the game already? And I'm curious now. And it sounds like that's just where waves and enemies will fight you. And
it's almost like a horde mode kind of thing.
Yeah. And this is going to say Link starts without any armor or weapons, and if he defeats all enemies in the room, he can proceed to the next area. Trial of the Sword will include 45 total rooms to complete. When you clear all the trials, the true power of the Master Sword will awaken and always be in a powered-up state.
Do you think that means that it's not going to degrade, like it won't break?
I don't know. I mean, that's what it is whenever it's already powered up right now. I could see that be a thing. Like, if you can... I mean, it's just 45 of these combat challenges.
Right.
Yeah, I have a feeling like that is just a big reward if you can finish this. You've already got the Master Sword, and now you've fought through 45 waves of enemies of different difficulties. Yeah, here you go. Here's your 60 power non-degrading Master Sword. Enjoy.
That would be so nice to be able to play that. I mean, to be able to play that game with a weapon that doesn't degrade. I love the weapon system because you get to have a bunch of different weapons you get to use, but I would like to have one that just is good.
And it seems like enough of a trial to get it. Like, they're not just giving it to you easily. What else? It has hard mode, which doesn't just increase damage, it upgrades the enemy type, basically. So reds become blues, become silver.
Yeah, whatever the next one is.
I don't remember
the harder color.
Yeah, they all increase by one color.
And then at the top of the rank, they're introducing enemy colors that you haven't seen before. Like the hardest one goes up one level. And then a crazy thing, so around Hyrule, there's going to be these wooden planks with balloons just floating through the air. And there are enemies on those planks.
Okay.
And I was thinking, how does that tie into hard mode? Like, that's really strange. It's because when you are flying, you climb up somewhere high and you fly on your paraglider, they will shoot you down.
Oh my god.
So it makes it harder to even traverse the world.
There you go.
You can also kill them up there and get treasure and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if that mode's for me or not. It might keep it harder longer, because I definitely felt like playing the game now for me isn't hard.
Yeah, once you get a certain point, it starts off being hard, and then it gets a lot easier.
Yeah, I think this would keep it harder for a lot longer, maybe always.
Well, and then the enemies regen health during the battle.
Yeah.
So that makes it hard too. I don't know. It wasn't quite what I was expecting with hard mode. I was hoping for something more than just harder enemies. That I don't know exactly what I was hoping for. Maybe something that I've heard suggested elsewhere, which would be nice, is you want to make this game harder, make it so my eating animations or whatever have to happen outside the menu. So I go in the menu, select something, and I have to sit down and eat for like 10 seconds. So you can't do it. You can instantly refill your hearts.
Yeah.
That would make it a lot harder.
Well, actually, that would be really interesting, because then it would make, let's say you could drink a potion quickly, like a second to drink a potion. So potions would be great for combat, but you could do an interesting balance to make potions like, no, you use potions in combat, but food, which gives you all your other like attack bonuses, defense bonuses, all that, is purely like it's almost going to be impossible to use in combat, but you want to do it pre-combat.
Right.
That could be an interesting one.
Yeah, and I was hoping to see something like that, like a little, I think this is thoughtful, but something step up. But that's fine, whatever. The next thing that you're going to read is probably my favorite part of the DLC.
Yeah, where it will show you the path you've taken for the past 200 hours or something.
200 hours. It's retroactive too. Like I've played for 70, and it has logged all my footprints, but has not displayed them. So this Heroes Path mode will display your footprints for the last 200 hours and show you everywhere on the map where you've been.
Yeah, and you can slide a slider so you can watch your movement from when you started or for the last 200 hours.
I'm looking forward to just watching that, seeing like where you're kind of like reliving your game really quickly.
You just do it real quickly, and you're like, God, what was I doing there? When you're going back and forth, I'm sure there's some places you'll just see your squiggles just going back and forth in the same place a ton.
Yeah.
Travel medallion was cool. Allows you to create a temporary travel point wherever you are. So you could just be somewhere that's not near a shrine or anything, and you could throw that down and allow yourself to jump back to a town, to wherever you want to be, and then jump back to where you put that portal down.
Yeah, and that'd be interesting for if you're farming certain materials that respawn after the blood moon or whatever. Like if you're fighting a certain enemy, you could plunk it down there, and then once the blood moon hits, you can just always go back to that place quickly to get your item.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of that. That is just a nice to have feature. Like,
right,
hands down, it's like cool. I'm kind of surprised they're locking it behind DLC, but
yeah, and I wonder. I thought the same thing for a couple of these pieces. Like some of these, like honestly, I think hard mode should have been in the base game. I guess should have in quotes, because I don't really know what should have been in there. The game was great, anyways. But I have a feeling that once the fall DLC comes out, like this whole package is worth $20, and you can't get these things unless you buy the whole package. And I feel like that $20, like that. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? The story DLC basically in the second pack is going to feel like it's worth $20, and the rest of this stuff is extra.
Yeah.
But right now this is all we have, so it's like, I don't know if it's worth $10, but or it should have been the game or whatever.
Yeah, this might be $5 of it, and the story is $15. Who knows how they want to? You get a Korok mask now, so you can locate Koroks. Which I guess if you want to hunt down all 900 of them, you would need this.
No, don't do it, folks. Don't.
No, it's not worth it.
And then there's some new equipment. Based on characters from other games, Midna, Phantom, which looks pretty cool, a Majora's Mask, and Tingle.
The best of all.
Oh my god. It's just like this green...
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Oof. Google it if you haven't seen it, man. It's I can't wait to get. I don't know what the hell what powers that thing bestows upon you.
I mean, that's the thing of all the new equipment that they showed. I'm very curious what all the different abilities are. Really curious what like Midna's one is going to be,
or even Phantoms. Yeah. Is it going to be wildly different than things we've already seen in the game, or is it? I don't know, like a stat boost to defense or something kind of lame like that. Hope it's more thoughtful than just a attack boost or a defense boost.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Tingle should have something. I don't know.
Find treasure? I don't know.
Yeah, more maps? Rupees. Like enemies will drop rupees and things like that. I don't know.
Magic find? Like, let's just Diablo this thing up.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I mean, this is a pretty... Well, I feel like some of this could be in the base game. It feels like a decent first like DLC. Gives people a lot of other things to come back to the game for, mess around with, and kind of sets, I feel, kind of the tone for going forward. So even if they have big story DLC, I have a feeling it will include more equipment, maybe some more quality of life items,
like the ability to put on a whole armor set at once instead of each piece.
Yep, that'd be cool. Saved sets, you could just be like. Quickly select a set, save a set of clothing you're wearing, equipment, and then just have it auto equip for you. Yeah,
right. That'd be nice.
There's some cool stuff they could do there. There's definitely some quality of life with the equipping they could work on. I hope they do. Definitely. The one that always got me was if my bow broke. That was annoying.
Where it just doesn't switch to another one automatically, or?
Doesn't switch to another one automatically, but since it's broke, you can't use the hot swap to another one.
Oh.
Because now it defaults you back to you don't have a bow
the swords or whatever.
Because of the swords, you have to go into the menu and equip it.
Right.
Got really frustrating at some point. Not in a way like detrimental to the game, but it was like, okay, guys, this could be done a little bit better here.
Yeah, I wonder if those like small fixes will be made in these updates. Like the Breath of the Wild just got like version 1.2.0. I wonder if it'll be in pieces like that, or if it'll be held back for DLC.
No, I figure it's going to be in these like 1.2. So speaking of 1.2, it came out the same day that they announced the DLC pack, I believe.
Right.
Something like, yeah.
Dual language voice pack. I'm excited. I want to play this again in a different language, either Japanese or Spanish.
Yeah, I'd be interested in Spanish. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I probably would do Spanish because I can understand that language as opposed to
Spanish
Japanese.
Spain and Spanish Latin America.
Yeah, Latin American Spanish.
I know, but it's still interesting that they even included both.
Yeah, I mean,
different dialects.
They have to.
I know they have to. It's kind of crazy to see. Yeah, because they have French for France and French Canadian.
Right. It's different enough. I mean, I'm sure if Portuguese was in here, it'd be Portugal Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese, because those are also different enough. But it's great for people who want to play the game listening in Japanese. I think a lot of people have called for that, and then to have the English text on screen. So it'd be nice to hear some of the other voice actors. And I don't know, what's Daruk's whatever.
Oh yeah,
Daruk's Grace or Daruk's.
Yeah,
I forget the noun. Daruk's whatever is ready to roll. It scare the shit out of me every time because I play on the Pro HUD, so I don't have any of the powers you can slowly see them fill back up. I don't have that, so all of a sudden I'm just doing something, and all of a sudden it just screams that at you, and it just like makes me jump.
Daruk's protection.
Daruk's protection. That's it.
Yeah.
Daruk's protection is ready to roll. Like, oh my god, stop it! You're scaring the crap out of me. So maybe in different languages it's less intense.
Yeah.
But I definitely will play through this again eventually, and so that's cool. That's the Reddit thread that you kind of posted that information from after it said dual language. The first post from someone named Blig Ideas, I guess. Holy shit, they're listening. Someone's excited that Nintendo's kind of doing a few things that fans have been asking for.
Yeah, it definitely shows that the team is probably listening to feedback, and somehow what people are saying is making its way to the team.
Right.
Which is cool. A lot of big teams don't get that a lot of times. They're just left to their own devices to go crazy and to make their own ideas. But that shows a moving forward of Nintendo's thinking as well. Like, okay, what does the community want to see?
Right.
So let's kind of prioritize some of that.
And I am happy that they're listening to the fans a little bit more. We're seeing a little bit more of that. That speaks well for the future, I guess. I don't think we're going to get everything we want, obviously, from Nintendo. Like, the people who are kind of clamoring for a trophy system, for example, I don't think they're going to. But small things here and there. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think this last one is all you.
So the last one here is that Fire Emblem Echoes will be the last mainline Fire Emblem game for the 3DS. And I think the first one was Awakening. I think it was Awakening, then the Conquest, Birthright, whatever. And then this will be the last one, which is the remake of the Fire Emblem
2.
Can't remember the name. Yeah, 2, whatever the name it was.
Yeah.
So this is a good sign because they already announced that the 2018 Fire Emblem will be on the Switch. So really, Birthright and Conquest, that was the last original Fire Emblem that we'll get on the 3DS. And this just signals that they're, switching over to the Switch and that the 3DS will eventually, sooner than later, lose the main title games. And I think that probably speaks to Pokemon going the same route.
Yeah. I figure we're going to get a Stars announcement here at some point.
And a lot of the speculation is that we're going to get it this coming week.
Oh, is that the announcement for this week?
Yep, because the way that it's worked in the past on their Direct page on Nintendo, they have like different boxes on their website for all the different Directs, and about a week before the next Direct, there's an empty box where something will go into, And apparently right now the empty box has showed up. So there's speculation that it's going to be this week, and it's going to be related to Pokemon. So we'll see. But I think this Fire Emblem news, I think that they announce a Pokemon game that is only on the Switch, people will buy a Switch. I don't think they're going to do that. I think that they will do one more Pokemon on the 3DS or do like a dual thing. Just get the better enhanced version on the Switch, but
they might. I don't know. Yeah, I mean they might do a dual one, but I saw something where they talked a Twitter tweet from Nintendo that showed the 3DS roadmap for them, and it was like Echoes. There it is. Ever Oasis.
Hey
in
Pikmin.
June. Yep. Hey Pikmin. Miitopia in July. Monster Hunter Stories, Fire Emblem Warriors, and Yokai Watch 2 in the fall. And they say more to come after that, but I'm pretty sure the roadmap they're showing here is we're coming to end of life now.
Right.
There'll probably be a few more things in 2018, but that's when you're going to see the stop of the big stuff. So,
well, is it a little bit of dissonance in the fact that they are releasing a new piece of DS hardware?
They did that with the Game Boy Advance. They did something very similar. The last version of the Game Boy Advance came out a year before they basically were ramping down production on it.
Just trying to catch last.
It's the last one, and it's also a thing that they don't just because it stopped making it. There's new games. There's a lot of people that sometimes will just go back with that. They're like, "Well, this is the final version of the hardware, and it's got a great catalog of games, and people will just still pick it up."
Right.
And you saw that. Yeah, the DS had a similar one. It had like a really small. There was a clamshell one, like a really small clamshell one.
Is that the DSi?
Yeah, it was the DSi. Like that didn't come out too much before the DS switched over to the 3DS.
Well, they'll probably get a sucker like me. I'll probably pick up the 2DS. It's got the new guts inside that I've been wanting for a while.
I think so. I want the new hardware, and I saw IGN's video of it. It looks really nice. It looks
sweet.
Yeah, it just looks like it's a little bit thinner, a little bit smaller, but I don't care about the 3D functionality. Looks cleaner. So
I want that C-stick. I want the extra buttons on top. I want the faster processing.
Yep. There we go.
There's a ton of great games on this thing I'm going to be playing for years.
So yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, am I a sucker or am I just like, I have an original? I will have a 3DS XL. And I kind of feel like, well, I'm going to be, like you said, playing this thing for a while. So why not trade up for something a little bit better?
Yeah, and for me, it's about if I can transfer my games over. If I can trade this in and transfer, because you only have one digital game, you said. Yep. So, yeah. Me, I have probably 20, so.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I can't transfer, I probably won't take the leap, but we'll see what that's detailed about, and then what GameStop does for a trade-in, because I'll trade in my 3DS XL. Yeah, awesome. Super exciting. Nintendo's got kind of owning the discussion space up until E3, really.
They own the news cycle right now.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, exactly. And E3, I can't believe it's almost. We're gonna have to do our E3 prediction episodes sooner than later because it's coming up.
It is. It's like, isn't that the first second week?
I think it's middle of June. So we'll get there in a couple of episodes, but it snuck up on me. I didn't realize it was coming so quickly.
June 13th through 15th.
Yeah. Oof. And that's like the official show floor stuff where Bethesda and whatever else is doing it before that.
When's due date for you?
25th.
Okay.
Of June.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we'll make a plan for me covering it if you go
Baby comes early.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We're hitting that imminent zone pretty quickly.
Yeah, today was the start of week 33, so it's viable and it could happen at any time. It seems right on track to kind of just be normal, but we'll see. I mean, normal is 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after, so it's not an exact science.
Oh boy.
Ooh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. So excited. And then, I have 3 weeks till the semester's over, which is also really exciting because this is just a really rough semester in terms of schedule. Lots of 14-hour days. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to a little bit of a break from that and then getting ready for the baby, which then there will be no break for a long time.
No.
Having my last gaming hurrahs right now, like trying to get through the games that I really wanted to get through, which is something I'll speak about in what we're playing. But you've been playing Torment, Tides of Numenera?
Yes, I went back. I played a few more, probably another couple hours this week. I've been busy with work in general and Space Tyrant, but getting into Torment some. I'm still in the first major city. You can talk to everybody, and everyone has a lot to say, and there's multiple conversation trees for tons of different people. Oh my god.
So you're just reading a lot.
Yeah. And most of them are really interesting. You're like, I'm going to go talk to this kid, and then you start talking, and there's just like some crazy backstory that you get into, and it's weird. Like, that's one thing I'll say at the game. The game is really strange. This is a very strange world that I feel like some people will come to be like, what the hell? Because, yeah, it's out there. Super, super out there sometimes.
Would you say that the side stuff, those quests, or side quests basically?
Well, that kid thing isn't a quest.
Okay, so side stories, I guess I should say. Do you find that they're as engaging as The Witcher 3's side stories? Because I found those super engaging.
I haven't gotten to a huge one yet, but from a small standpoint, these side characters are pretty
okay.
And it also works really well to build and kind of just started to see how things work together and how strange things are, but how much it's just accepted. What else I am playing a character that can sense thoughts sometimes. Not all the time. So sometimes I'll get a block of text that they tell me, and then I get a bracketed orange block of text that shows me like what they're actually thinking.
Whoa, that's cool.
Because I took a special trait during character creation, or I know a certain skill. It's one of those things like if you never took the skill, you would never see any of this text. I can't imagine how many lines of dialogue, just story, are locked depending on what your stats are. That some people will never see tons of this stuff. So it's rich. It's a very rich game. I didn't even do a single combat so far. I talked my way out of the first combat. Completely talked my way through it.
So you were able to use those skills to avoid fighting completely.
Yep.
And this is a game that you backed on Kickstarter, right?
I did.
Yeah. Okay.
I did back it. Not a huge amount. Somewhere between 30, just a copy of the game. I think it got me the beta. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's an isometric RPG, just set in a very strange world with good writing. But you have to be willing that it's not voice acted. Some of it's voice acted, but I would say only about 10% tops is voice acted. The rest is you're reading a novel. You're reading a multi-choice novel, and you have to be okay with that.
I was reading through some of the reviews right now on Steam, and a lot of people are upset about how much reading there is.
Yeah.
All right. So
I guess at some point, it's a spiritual successor to Planescape Torment Gates and all those games, which I'm kind of surprised to be like, come to this going like, man, you have to read a lot. I'm like, yeah. Well, welcome to the days before voice acting, and voice acting is expensive. And so, yeah. What about Planescape?
I would say Planescape Torment, I think, was a couple of outlets have released like their top 100 RPGs of all time, and I think Planescape Torment was on the top.
Oh yeah,
like,
it usually is in the
5.
top. Yeah, it's usually top 10, top 5. It's an incredible game. It does incredible things with, and yeah, I mean, and Torment Tides of Numenera is just the spiritual successor. It's a lot of the same team and the same writer. So, yeah. I highly recommend it to people who like that thing, and yeah, it takes a lot to get into, and you have to read a lot. That's what you sign up for when you're playing.
I might watch like a let's play of it, just like an hour or so of it, because it sounds long, and I don't think I have time for a long one right now. But to kind of pop in and out, I don't know, just to read a little bit and see if it would be up my alley.
You can also save it at any point in time.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah.
I'm going to need those games with the kid. Like, I need to go right now.
Yeah.
Suspend mode on the PS4.
Oh, God, yeah.
So good.
So, beyond that, on May the 4th, be with you, the Star Wars Old Republic I got a promo email saying, like, hey, we're giving away a special thing there. And at the same time, noticed that the Twitch Prime monthly thing right now is a code for a bunch of stuff in the Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a kind of like some starting stuff, and then a token to get a level 65 character, so you could play the new expansion immediately if you want.
That's interesting. Okay.
So yeah, that was through Twitch Prime. I was like, sure, and that got me to come in. I played that for a night, just going back to it, and again, not bad. It's an MMO, Star Wars. It's WoW, just done up in Star Wars for the most part. But they've really embraced the single player RPG side of things more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very separate. Like, you don't have to group with anyone if you don't want to, ever.
You just go on your own.
Yep, and you can just play it as a single player Star Wars, which is what a lot of people yeah, it's pretty interesting. The level 65 thing just skips you ahead. It sounds like, I had to do some reading. There's like the 1 to 60 story, which is like you choose the type of character you want to be, and you can play through like a class story arc.
Mm-hmm.
And then 60, you start a new character at level 60. If you want to do this thing called the Outlander is your name, and you play a specific character, which you can build any way you want of what classes, but it basically becomes a much more single player RPG.
So it's telling a different story in a way.
Yeah. And the level 65 thing was the next expansion, which was the next part of the Outlanders story. So Knights of the Old Republic, like 4 or 5 is what it is, effectively.
I should go back and check my Twitch Prime, because I only log in every once in a while, so I'm probably missing a bunch of stuff.
I check it usually every month. There's been some months where there's been nothing, but some months it's like, yeah, I'll use that, like the Old Republic. Sure, why not?
I usually use it just to sub to the channels that I really like and give people money.
And I actually know people that work on Twitch Prime, so.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's actually based. The Twitch Prime team is based here in Seattle at Amazon in Seattle, and I now know one of the main UX designers on there, UI UX designers for it, and I know a developer on it.
Cool.
XPopCap. So it's kind of fun knowing that they're putting this stuff in and trying to tweak Twitch Prime to be more and more easier to access and just work better. So.
Well, it's interesting because if you're paying for Prime, I wonder if people pay for Prime just for Prime.
I doubt it.
Yeah, so it seems to me like just a side thing, and it's like you didn't even have to do this, but it's like more value for Prime.
Yeah. So one thing I heard: 63% of all U.S. households have Amazon Prime.
63% of U.S. households?
Yeah.
Not just households who use Amazon, but households.
No. Households. 63%. Higher percentage than households that own guns. A couple other stats that was just staggering how many people are on Amazon Prime. Like, it's an insane amount of U.S. have Amazon Prime.
Well, it's a crazy deal. Like,
yeah,
I don't have to think about shipping prices. Just,
nope.
It's been great.
So, and you get all these bonus features. You get the streaming, you get Twitch, it's definitely a thing.
You get like on my Kindle.
You get free books.
Free books. Yeah, I got the Handmaid's Tale for free. Like what? Yeah, it's the greatest deal on the face of the earth.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and we also get the video game discount, 20% off the first 2 weeks or pre-orders.
Yeah.
That's great.
And so beyond that, I've been doing a lot of. My wife has been sick this weekend, feverish and not good. She got whatever the kids had a few weeks earlier. So I took the kids off to do other things off the island and just kept them occupied. They came with me to play testing today and played with the other founders' kids. So
cool.
But when we're at the ferries, I pulled out Pokemon Go again.
Oh my gosh. Dusted that old gem off.
Yeah. And I don't think I'd have it out all the time, but man, the compulsion just to keep it open and like catch Pokemon is totally there. And they've added a lot of small quality of life features over the time, and they have a bunch of new Pokemon now. And yeah, so they're having some big event this weekend. Like grass type Pokemon are spawning way more this weekend. So I was able to evolve my Bulbasaur into an Ivysaur. So
excellent.
I don't know what it means, but I'm glad you did it. my kids are thrilled. So, and I had it when I was driving today from the fair to the playtest area. We have to drive through Seattle, And I just, from when I got off the ferry dock and was driving, I gave my son the phone. I was like, okay, we're almost out of Pokeballs. You just need to spin. These things come up, just spin them. Get Pokeballs for us. Oh, he did it all the way there. It was great. He was so thrilled.
Oh, now I know why it's good to have kids.
Oh yeah, they can totally. He was like, Dad, it's a Bulbasaur. Do you want me to catch it? I'm like, go for it. If you can catch it, and do it. And he did it. So
awesome.
It was a lot of fun and kept him pretty entertained and his sister pretty entertained for the drive. So it still drains your battery like crazy.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be able to fix that.
No,
they should have made Pokemon Go battery packs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that they're still updating it. I guess people are still playing it because it's in the top 20 of like highest grossing apps on. I think it's in the top 20 still on iPhone.
I believe so. I bet it's probably spiked this weekend because of that event going on.
Oh yeah,
definitely. It's not shocking. I don't feel like this game's going to go away. Even though it might not be at its like peak that it used to be.
Yeah.
There's enough people that I think it's kind of just part of their life now. Like it's just that thing they do on their commute. It's just that thing they do out when they're walking.
Right. Jump in 20 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. I thought Heroes would be that, like, or Fire Emblem Heroes would be like that for me, but after the first month or two, I haven't really opened it up that much.
Yeah, I'll open up it every couple days, but that's about it. But what are you up to?
I'm going to start with some small stuff and then get to the big thing. First, just Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. My wife loves that game, so we play it every other day. Play a couple races. And she legit, the last race, just dismantled me. She came in first, I came in third. And usually I'm really, really good at Mario Kart. 8 specifically.